Okay, okay. Oops, not that, not yet. There we go.
Okay, here we go.
What's up,
You're
people? How
how you
you
feeling?
doing? How you living? How you feeling? Let us know who we're hanging out with here in the chat. How you darn? Jordan says, I'm trying to get into this one. I'll be ready on Discord. He already knows he's ready.
Love that.
What's up, G Money? What's up, Sammy Stacks? What's up, Macy? Welcome in. Welcome into the stream, guys. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you've had a great day. We are doing a Dynasty startup mock draft on today's show. You know, I actually don't know how many people are looking for Dynasty startup mock drafts. Like, I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, I think there is. I think there is a
there's
good
probably a
community
good
out
amount of
there.
people, right?
Yeah,
But
because there's still maybe not right now, but as the season gets closer, they like to do their drafts. I
sure.
guess a little bit closer into the season, maybe at the end of summer.
Mm,
Maybe end of July, mid August type of area. So, I think it's good. Good
yeah,
community out there still.
I think as well, like, I find dynasty startups being a really good indicator of dynasty value, and like it's a really good pulse on how people view players in dynasty
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It actually makes me want to have another dynasty,
league.
do a dynasty startup. Yeah,
I
at
know,
times it's like, oh, I'll just love to actually do a real draft, but
I know.
at the same
Speaking
time, it's
of,
like,
I'm
yeah,
gonna message those people real quick. We'll see you guys in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. Really appreciate y'all. We are doing a dynasty startup draft. If you can do us a huge favor, go ahead and smash that like button. If we get to 150 likes, we will make it 2 mock drafts for you guys. So help us get there. Show some love. Such an easy way to support the channel to help us grow. Now, Badake, if people want to get in today's mock draft, let me ask you, how can they get in? Is there
yeah,
possibly a way?
there's definitely a way. All you have to do is join our Discord
Oh,
link in the description.
there's actually no description on this stream.
Is there no description?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's interesting. What was that?
Do you think this is reset from when you use StreamYard or something?
Maybe it did.
Let me grab it. Let me
Streamyard was
grab it.
so. Okay, well, as Zach is doing that, I'll tell you how to get in. Once the link is in Discord is in the description. Go join our Discord. Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs. Then go to content releases. That's exactly how you can join this mock draft. Once again, the link is going to be in the description, and we'll also put in the chat here once we get that.
Yeah.
Go to the Fantasyland tab, then go to content releases, and that's exactly how you can join this mock draft. It is first come, first serve, but it's okay because I think we're going to be continue to be doing these mock drafts every single Tuesday night over there for you guys. So keep that in mind. Dynasty startup mock drafts every Tuesday night from now on until something's changed. But there goes a link in the description or in the chat, and the link should be in the description here soon. So once that happens, I'm going to be sending the link out here. I'll give you guys 30 seconds because I know we were a little bit delayed there. But let's see.
Yeah.
Did you end up watching or catching up the Lakers and the Nuggets?
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
LeBum. All right, I'm sending this link out. 3, 2. There you go. But yeah, LeBum. Nah.
Yeah. At 38 years old, he's a bum.
He can't do it by himself.
No, I think he did great.
Yeah, he definitely.
and
I think he was just exhausted, honestly,
Sure.
in that second half.
he didn't take a break at all the entire first half. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. I hope he doesn't retire. I mean, I used to be. I mean, not like you, as if like you're just a hater of everyone. You have this weird hate towards LeBron James that's unfounded. You have that with a couple people, but like I used to really hate Kobe. As a Thunder fan, I used to really hate Kobe, and I think the more I watch basketball and the more I kind of like grow into it, I just kind of want to appreciate greatness, and I just think that when LeBron is gone, we're all gonna miss him, and he's if there's people out there who are literally saying like LeBron and MJ are in 2 different conversations, I think that's incorrect. Now, I don't care who you have as the GOAT, but I mean, when LeBron leaves the NBA will be left with a hole. It definitely will. It'll be left with a hole. And I mean, you cannot replicate that kind of greatness, that kind of career. It's insane. But I'm gonna be sad when he's gone. I am. I'm gonna be sad.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's gonna be a sad day.
Yeah.
But,
106 days until kickoff.
Be careful.
Startup season now that rookie drafts are wrapping up. G Money says, okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I think this is kind of where it happens. You know, I think we're gonna get a lot of people trying to. Where's your Dynasty startup drafts? You know, like we're gonna get a lot of those in the comments because like I have them coming in a couple weeks or whatever. We'll do as many as we possibly can. You know, we definitely have a lot of rookie mock drafts or actually real rookie drafts.
They're already out.
Already out, and I think we probably have about 4 or 5 more. So about another month left of those videos or those live streams with our community, which is awesome. So definitely stay tuned to that. I guess once that's over, we're just gonna pop out these Dynasty mock drafts.
So why don't we go ahead and get this thing going? We're doing a 2023 Dynasty Superflex Startup mock draft. PPR. It is not tied in premium. And let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Alan says, I used to hate LeBron. That comeback and block in Game 7 made me love him. I know.
Wait,
that 3-1 comeback is one of the... Okay, Hurts goes at the 1-1. That comeback is one of the... I think one of the greatest moments of basketball history when LeBron came down 3-1 on the Warriors. That was... I mean, that's historic type performance. Okay, so Hurts goes 1-1. I mean, nothing wrong with that. If that's your guy, I mean, you know, Badake and I always say, hey, maybe not saying that we wouldn't do, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. Mahomes goes and Allen, and I'll take a little Joe Burrow here at the 1-4.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, Hurts was on pace to be finished QB1 this year, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Before the injury,
he was great.
So. I mean, there's definitely a conversation to be had there for sure. Once again, like Zach said, would we do that? Probably not.
In points per game, he was first in points per game. He and Patrick Mahomes were the only one in the 25-point range per game. So yeah, I mean, look, it's not crazy. I feel better about Mahomes, his long-term success year after year after year, and just how his game will translate. You know, throughout the NFL. But that, again, doesn't mean like Hurts is the wrong decision at all.
For sure. And then you get the run of quarterbacks, you know, your top 8 kind of going whichever way you want. Lamar going over Herbert today, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Then you get Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Bijan at the 111. Then CeeDee and Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 4 there at the 2-1.
By the way, guys, if you don't know, we have a redraft channel. And we just put out our first 2 videos recently over there. That's where everything started, over on the redraft channel. So I know you guys been showing some love. If you don't know, go ahead and subscribe over there. We've got 2 videos out. We're doing live streams now. We'll be live there Thursday night this week doing a mock draft. But it was funny because I realized, wow, we are really in redraft season now when people start getting upset that you have Bijan Robinson ranked high. On our latest running back video, it's actually
honestly
hilarious.
that was probably the same thing that happened last year, and people roasted us.
And then for sure.
And then, you know, Bijan was on pace to be like a top 8 running back if he didn't get injured.
Brees, for sure.
Brees Hall, there you go.
It's just funny. You can definitely tell people who are not in Dynasty and just in redraft mode, because when you start talking about some of these rookies, it's their expectation that they'll do nothing, you know. And there's definitely like a fine line there. Some people's expectations of rookies are too high, but it's just funny getting roasted for having Bijan in our top 5 redraft rankings, as if that's crazy, right? Like, to me, it's like a no-brainer, but, you know, people roasting us in the comments. So redraft season is back, and that means that the NFL is getting closer and closer.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, we've seen OTAs, all these videos on Twitter. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but Elijah Moore was catching passes from Deshaun Watson.
Nuh-uh.
And he looked incredible.
No way.
And he should easily finish as a top 10, top 15 wide receiver without a doubt this year.
So you're saying he was catching passes in no pads?
and no pads. There was nobody
No
around
defenders,
him.
right?
Yeah, no
Holy shit,
defenders.
this guy could be the wide receiver 1 this year.
And it looked beautiful, genuinely.
I mean, you can't argue with art. You know, you said it looked beautiful. I mean, at some point, you just have to let art be art.
It has to be.
I'm on the clock here, and I'm gonna probably go ahead and take a little Dak Prescott here at the 2-9.
Yeah, no, that's a good one there.
Everyone looks like a Hall of Famer in practice. I know. I actually found. Look, here's what I'll say. If people look, Twitter's a dangerous space in general. You guys know I've said that. Like, I just don't think it's always a good place for information. But in general, if people are covering rookie camps in depth as if it's going to matter for the NFL season, that's a good sign maybe to move on from watching that content. I just don't think it really has ever made a big difference.
Yeah.
Now, reports are a different thing, but I've seen online people looking at like videos from iPhones of players at camp catching balls and analyzing it. I'm like, are you really trying to analyze this right now? It's practice.
Oh man.
Yes,
a good time.
yes, Chuff. Catching passes with a football included. Absolutely correct.
Oh, there goes Chris Olave there.
Wait till Hard Knocks. True. Hard Knocks will work its magic. Okay, so Austin Eckler goes at the 2-8. I mean, that was very surprising for me to see.
Yeah, what's that? Running back 3.
Running back 3, yeah. You know, in Dynasty, yeah, that's pretty rich. He's currently my running back 12 in Dynasty. Obviously, if you're a redraft, or sorry, if you're a win now team, you know, there's few running backs you'd want over him. But in Dynasty, that was a little bit surprising to see. I go Dak, you go AJ Brown, Breece Hall at the 2-11, Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 2-12, Waddle, Olave, and now you're on the clock here.
Yeah, I was hoping for one of those 3 to fall to me. I'm gonna play a little different strat here. I normally don't do this and always get upset, but I like to mess around sometimes. I'll take Kyle Pitts.
Okay.
I once again I always say this. I never like to draft a tight end in my top 5 rounds or top 6. I'd rather get a later guy. I'd rather go for like an Njoku or, you know, a Cole Kmet or Evan Ingram, whatever the case may be in the later rounds. But I'll take Kyle Pitts here.
Okay. I mean, I love it. You know, I love Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
So
Desmond, believe it.
well, sure. I'll probably go Jackson Smith and Jigba here at the 3-4 then.
T. Higgins.
That's actually a good one to remember, G-Money. Remember, Jamar Chase can't catch footballs that don't have white lines on them. Yeah, that's a funny one. Jordan said he was here to start the conversation. I love it. Love it. Chances Heineke takes over this year?
With Atlanta.
You know, I would say if they're competitive, which they should be, like they're a good team. They made a lot of smart moves in the offseason. If they're competitive in that NFC South and Desmond Ridder isn't holding up his end, then absolutely there could be a scenario in which we could see old mate taking over Heineke.
Yeah.
Abaki, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Very, very kind of you.
Thank you.
He says Lance got every first team rep at OTAs, went 12 for 17.
Oh, be careful.
Shooting up rankings, baby.
I don't know if you saw that too, but there was like, have you guys seen any change in Trey Lance's throwing motion? Like, I don't know if you've seen that. People like already comparing. Like, I could do that with any quarterback right now.
Yeah,
but,
I do think like that particular instance though. I think there is some merit in that because you can see the work that he's done.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's not putting in the work, but I think that's what people are saying. Well, this is a big step here for Trey.
Yeah,
still doesn't have the playing time, you know. I think that's what's pretty big. But hey, we've seen successful people like an Aaron Rodgers sit for years, or Jordan Love that we hope that's going to take off, right? So we'll see.
Overreaction season is in full swing. It absolutely is, Macy. I mean, look, as someone who has Lance on quite a few dynasty rosters, sure, let's get that value all the way up as high as possible. Here's what I will say though: if Lance actually ends up being the starter week 1, I think I'm wheels up again. I honestly think I'm wheels up. If he's named the starter, I'm ready to be wheels up all in. So, gotta stay water, baby. Gotta stay water. If you're the 49ers, do you really play Purdy over a healthy Lance? Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, this is a whole nother conversation.
Really don't know.
This is a big conversation. We talked about this all off season. Yeah. I don't know what was that word that you said. That was like a definition.
Okay, sunk cost fallacy. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that one.
We have to deal a little bit with sunk cost fallacy here, which if you guys don't know what it means, we can look up the meaning because I don't know it off the top of my head. The phenomenon whereby a person is reluctant to abandon a strategy or course of action because they have invested heavily in it, even when it's clear that abandonment would be beneficial. So, yeah, we have to figure out where the Niners are. Do they really, like, in their mind, are they really thinking we invested so much in this player? Probably not at this point. They're probably thinking who gives us the best chance to win. So, anyway, look, I want Trey Lance to be the starter. I want him to get... As a Trey Lance truther last year, one of the biggest, people backing him last year, I just want to know. It's okay if he's actually awful, but the people who are so definitive and saying he is awful, I just think they're talking out of their ass because we don't know. Like, he has not had enough time to actually make that claim whether he is good or bad. I just want to know for sure either way. The result can be, okay, he is a bad NFL quarterback and he's not going to get there. That's fine with me. I just want to know what it's going to be, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what
happens. But yeah,
with,
we could easily turn this into a Trey Lance stream. So let's.
Yeah, it's back and forth. Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, actually.
Yeah. Well, it's actually really comforting that Trey Lance got first team reps with Sam Darnold there. That's good to know. T. Higgins at the 3-5, CMC at the 3-6, then Diggs, Gibbs, Etienne, Smith, London, Metcalf, Tua, Saquon Barkley, all off the board. So Tua falls to the 4-2. That's pretty good value. And then, I mean, maybe this is what Chaffee was going to do. He's going to take Trey Lance, or maybe it's because we were talking about Trey Lance that he goes off the board a little bit earlier. Hard to say, but...
Don't say players' names that haven't been drafted.
Yeah. Trey Lance is in such a unique situation, and I really hope for his case and for my stock of him that he does get the chance to be the starter for this team. Damn, I was going to say Mark Andrews. Oh, Mark Andrews at the 4-7.
Nice little run of tight ends there, actually.
That is really good value. Sheesh. Man, I really am regretting going Dak Prescott at the 2-9. And I know exactly what you're going to do next. Yeah, wow. Definitely some regret here.
100%. So it kind of worked out for me, actually.
Oddly enough, I think I'm going to take a little Quentin Johnston here.
Hey, talk it up. I was going to go Danny Dimes and Quentin if he would have came to me at the 5-3.
Wow, I just realized I have two rookie wide receivers. This isn't a good start.
I'll take Daniel Jones here. I mean, I thought Daniel Jones was going to go, at the early 4th. Happy that he fell to me right there, so I'm pumped.
Yeah. I can see the chat is going. There's a lot of different opinions in the chat on Trey Lance. I'd love to see that. Just for the sake of this stream and saving it, let's go in a different direction. You and I, the chat can do whatever they want, but we'll go in a different direction ourselves. Najee Harris. Oh, Mike has a problem with me taking Quentin. What do I do?
That's okay. I mean,
what do we do?
Everyone hated me talking about Quentin. So welcome.
Yeah.
There's plenty.
All
of
right,
room
guys.
here.
I'm gonna have to go back and undo the pick because Mike doesn't like it.
There's plenty of room here.
Daniel Jones at the 4-10, Cooper Kupp at the 4-11. We see Najee at the 4-12, T.J. Hawkinson, Jordan Addison off the board. Let's see what Badake does here.
Yeah, I'm definitely going wide receiver here, without a doubt. Let me just double check.
Quentin Johnson over Cooper Kupp, amazing. Oh, God, I'm so done with those conversations.
Like Jerry Judy.
Trying to explain how certain things like context are important in Dynasty. I've been talking about a buy low pretty much the past 6 months, and that is Treylon Burks. So I'm going to take him here at the 5-4. Welcome to the squad.
Welcome to the squad, Trigger Trey.
It's not redraft, Mike. Burks is a bust. I love it, guys. Keep spreading it around. I want to get him cheaper and cheaper in my leagues.
I don't know if you know, man, but Jackson Smith and Jigbo went on a team with 2 other wide receivers.
What?
And yeah, I mean, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett there. I don't see any way that he gets targets.
Dang.
Same thing with Quentin.
That's a bad pick then. My bad. You know what's hilarious about this? Like, we were having the same conversations last year when we were taking Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave over some of these names, and people had a problem with it. It never ends. It's an endless cycle. Daniel says, love me some Burks. Love to hear that, brother. Love to hear that. Okay, so we see Kittle, Addison, Judy, Burks, and now Kittle off the board. Sammy Stacks is now on the clock.
Michael Pittman there. That's his first wide receiver.
Yeah, we're wild, Mike. We're the ones who are wild for sure. Thanks for joining. Should give me, dude. This is what's funny with Badake. Like, here's what I don't understand about people who, like, what's the word? Like, online they look at creators and disagree with them so heavily that, you know, they get in their feelings about it. Make content then. Make content. Start a YouTube channel. Put your voice out there.
That's the first thing I say, because
you know,
people are quick with opinions, but they don't want to put it. They don't want to put the time and effort to put it out there, which is fine. You know, that's what we're doing. We're putting the time and effort to do it. If you have an opinion, disagree, that's fine. You make a video and maybe I'll go and comment and see if I agree with you. No.
Yes, my problem is that I'm offended. Okay, got it.
Disagree.
Mike thinks prime receivers last until they're 35. Keyboard warriors. Look, Mike, you're absolutely welcome here, man. Of course. I mean, if you know anything about this channel, I don't think another channel offers different opinions more than this channel. So, absolutely, you're welcome here. But I don't know why I need to explain why Quentin Johnston's a good pick in Dynasty, but fair enough. Jameson Williams off the board at the 5'8". Then we see Swift at the 5'9", Moore at the 5'10", and Walker at the 5'11". Oh my God. See, this is the same exact conversation we were having last year when we were taking Chris Olave over Cooper Kupp, when we were taking Garrett Wilson over Cooper Kupp, over Devontae Adams. It was this huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? What can you do? Just let him be.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers there. So Ramondre Stevenson, Jameson Williams, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Kenneth Walker at the 5'11" here. And then Zay Flowers. So is this probably the first time we've seen him go in the 5th round? I don't remember.
Hey, Selmo, I don't know if you want to redo that pick though, man. Zay Flowers hasn't had a snap in the NFL. Just in case you're curious about that. So we'll give him a chance to redo it if he wants.
And then Tony Pollard there. He's going no quarterback strat at the 112. So let's see what that looks like. I mean, if he's reading the board right, maybe he can land with some good ones.
Apparently we have an echo chamber, Badake, because you and I think so similarly. There's no difference of opinion on this channel. None whatsoever.
Oh, wait, well, hold on.
Must be the first stream for Mike here. Welcome, Mike. When do you feel comfortable taking Walker? We've talked about this a lot, Sean, but Aki and I have disagreed on it quite consistently. The 5'11" is not. Here's what I'll say: Swift should not be going ahead of Walker.
That's what I was gonna say.
Definitely not. But yeah, here's what I'll say: I've seen Kim Walker a lot in like the 3rd round, late 3rd round. To me, that's too early. Especially when we see Charbonnet go in like the 8th, 9th round. I just don't think that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, we've seen Ken Walker in the NFL already for sure, but same draft capital. Charbonnet's a talented running back. He's not going to be irrelevant. Both are going to play a role. So I don't know, man. I think probably the 6th round, but again, Swift should not have gone that high, so it's a tough mock draft
I
to
think
really
there's
put your finger on.
definitely, I think there's definitely a couple people that I would take. I'm just trying to think. Look, I've always been an advocate of Kenneth Walker, no matter where you want to take him, whether it's in the. I think the earliest, absolute earliest, is like fourth now,
Okay.
early fourth. Before I was saying, you know what, maybe it was third, maybe where Gibbs was going, ETN, Jacobs, but I think right now, you know, early to mid fourth round feels comfortable, and how whichever way you want to take it. But I think I am. What I will say is I'm taking Najee Harris over him, and then after that it's shaky. Like, do I want to take Ramondre Stevenson over Kenneth Walker? That's a hard question right now, honestly. Like, I don't know that answer. I think off the top of my head, I can say, yeah, Ramondre Stevenson doesn't have too much competition around him compared to Kenneth Walker. But, you know, you got to think of the draft capital. You got to think of, you know, everything as a whole.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Choff says Swift has less competition than Walker in the backfield, just has to stay healthy. I don't know. I mean, Choff, let me ask you this. When has a rookie been traded on their rookie contract in the last decade and then been given some sort of long-term commitment from a team? Like, genuine question. I want to understand, because I could be wrong, but I don't remember a time that's happened. And also, let me grab. I'm not a huge fan of those running backs. Let me grab. We'll grab a little Debo this late. So we have to understand the Eagles' offense. What did they do last year? Well, no one ran the ball more than Philadelphia. No one. But no one threw the ball less to running backs than Philadelphia. If you look at Swift's production from a fantasy perspective, over 55% of his production has come through the air over the past 2 seasons. He is not someone who has ever been a reliable person on the ground. In fact, I think he's had 23 games where he's had under 10 carries, and he's only had 2 games where he's had over 15. It's just really difficult. And also, in his career, he's only started 32.6% of the Lions games since he's been drafted to the Lions. I just find it really difficult to see him just automatically being the guy when Rashad Penny, when healthy, is one of the better rushers, pure rushers in the NFL. If you look at yards per attempt, yards after contact per attempt, pretty much most metrics are going to show you that he was a top 5, as far as analytics go, top 5 pure rusher in the NFL last year when healthy. So to a team that doesn't really reward receiving running backs because you have Jalen Hurts who can rush it, I don't know, man. I think the 5.9 is a little bit too early for me with Swifty.
Yeah, I would agree that Swift is a bit early. One thing I would say is that I'm not a big. I mean, it's tough to argue with Swift, with him staying healthy, but I would say I'm just not a big believer in Rashad Penny to stay healthy. I think
if I had the case for both of those players saying that.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. I think if I had a bet and who can play the most games, I'm definitely going to be leaning Swift. And I think he's also, I think he's also the better overall back on the team, I would say, in my eyes. You know, I think he can run the ball on the ground, and he's a great pass catcher. But I do believe the 5.9 is a bit too up there for me.
Yeah. I don't think I want to touch him before the 7th or 8th round, personally.
Okay, so you got Jared Goff, Jordan Love here. A couple quarterbacks going. I mean, still over a guy that I really like. Okay, I'll take Yeah, I mean, I bought this guy to sell at the right time because I think his value is going to get higher. So I'll take Calvin Ridley here.
Okay, Calvin Ridley off the board. I think that's a good pick. Yeah, definitely the obvious pick there. I mean, at this point, I'll take a little Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert.
Little Dallas Goedert. Give me a little Goedert. Schaff says, I just don't think the Seahawks take another round 2 running back if they loved what they saw from Walker. Totally, like,
I think that's the hardest part.
What
That's
I'm
the biggest
saying
argument.
is that I think both Walker and Swift should not be drafted that high. So
Zach Charbonnet goes at the 7-5. So essentially nearly two rounds later, round and a half later, right? I mean, it's difficult with Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. I think a dynasty perspective, I still feel really comfortable taking Kenneth Walker higher than Charbonnet.
Yeah. Kenneth Walker obviously has the upper hand, right? Because he's shown it in the NFL for sure.
Yeah.
Between those two backfields.
Yeah, so definitely very interesting. It was Deontay Johnson.
Hey, Mike, we don't delete a single video on our page, my man. If you do want to go deep dive, feel free. Go crazy. Honestly, if you want to, that's why we leave all of our videos up. Be my guest. Be my guest. If you want to look at all the live streams that we've done where we've done our rookie drafts, you can have a look at all my teams. He says I ain't deep diving. I'm not sure why we're asking that question then. Like what? I don't know. Mike, have a good day, man. Have a good day.
Appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for supporting, man. Thanks for commenting. Make sure you drop a like before you leave. Subscribe. Thanks for everything you do.
So we see Kenny Pickett at the 7-8.
And that's who I was talking about. I mean, I'm surprised he fell out. I mean, not fell. I guess this is where you can take him, right? I mean, and that's Daniel Macy's third quarterback there.
Yeah.
And maybe he's doing that because, 2 teams here are still looking. 3 teams actually are looking for a quarterback, which is very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I feel more comfortable taking Kenny over Love. I think that's where it stops, right? So I like Jared Goff still over Kenny. I think he gets that contract extension with the overall team. They're really back to back in my rankings there. I'm taking Kenny at the moment. I'm taking Kenny over Trey, but I wouldn't take Trey that high.
Yeah,
personally.
I do have Trey over Kenny. I have Kenny 1 spot ahead of Love, but it's very close. I'm kind of you brought a video on Kenny Pickett. I think we released that today. I'm a little bit more hesitant myself, but I'm kind of a bystander on the Kenny Pickett conversation. I don't really have a ton of stock of him. Let's just see here.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like in that category of, I guess with Trey Lance, like, let's see what happens. I really don't know what will happen.
Yeah, for sure. There goes Christian Kirk as well. So he goes, 7 spots later than Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Not bad there.
Okay, so we see Deontay, which I've talked about in a video recently at the 7-6. Godwin is actually a really good value there at the 7-9.
I just don't know what to do with the Tampa Bay wide receivers. If I am drafting somebody, it's definitely Godwin. Younger, excuse me. He could potentially get moved. If I'm not mistaken, there is an out on his contract. Let me just double check that.
Yeah.
Even though he signed a 4-year contract. Let's see what we have here. Sometimes Sport Track doesn't. Yeah, so there is an out after 2024. So if they want to, just completely revamp, rebuild, Chris Godwin could be a guy that's on a move to another team next year.
Yeah.
So if I am drafting somebody, obviously it is Chris Godwin, only 28 years old. 27 will be 28, I guess you say at the end of this season or whatever. So I don't mind it.
Yeah. Rashad White at the 8-2, and I think Anselmo, Team 12, has actually done incredible here. To get Russell Wilson, Geno Smith. Russell Wilson had a down year for sure, but we got Sean Payton in town. Look at what Sean Payton has done historically, including a struggling Drew Brees and helping him turn his career around after the Chargers. You bring Sean Payton in. Geno Smith was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL last year. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. To get those two guys that late, I don't think those quarterbacks should have been available that late. And yeah, I mean, I was really curious what quarterbacks he was going to get. Stacking up on the wide receivers and running backs, it definitely ended up in his favor, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah. Kadarius Toney, Cam Akers, Devin A-Chain, Derek Carr. Nice little quick run there. Kadarius Toney at the 8-5. Cam Akers. To me, I'm not looking for one. Having fun. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think we'll go Derrick Henry here. Get a little Durka on the team.
Get a little Durka.
Yeah. Are we finally getting Judy's breakout this season?
I'm believing.
I definitely think it could be.
I'll see you there.
Yeah. We've talked about Judy a lot on the channel. Something that a lot of people actually don't realize is what he was doing to end the year last year. If you look at from weeks 10 to 18, I can't remember exactly what week it is, but from weeks 10 to 18, for example, Jerry Jeudy was a wide receiver 18. And then he just gets even better as the season kind of comes to an end. From weeks 12 to 18, Jerry Jeudy is wide receiver 10. And then the last 4 weeks of the season, we see Jerry Jeudy as a wide receiver 4. Wide receiver 3 in that time span. Last 4 weeks of the season, averaging over 20 points per game. To me, Courtland Sutton just does not look like the same player that he once was. And you've got Greg Dulcich there, but outside of Dulcich, it's really Marvin Mims, Jerry Jeudy. I had more expectations for Jerry Jeudy as a prospect, as a player in the NFL. I think Marvin Mims will be a very good complement to him, unquestionably, but I think Jerry Jeudy this definitely could be the year if he can stay healthy, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of belief and a lot of, Jerry Jeudy wasn't my guy this past year.
Yeah.
There was so much expectation coming in. Obviously, that didn't plan out with that offense, and the way that kind of turned out. But you got to back it again. Still, and it was a strong finish to the season, kind of like Zach was alluding to, which is awesome. So, definitely want to build off that still. But 1 year too early for me.
Yeah.
A classic. Damn right, I'm the one.
So I was gonna wait to look at this comment about Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders better in Carolina than Philly this year. Look, here's what I'll say. Miles Sanders will get more volume, I would say, than he got in Philly this year. He'll have a higher percentage of that backfield. As someone who had Miles Sanders in quite a few leagues, it was frustrating to see, the limitations. And it made sense for the Eagles as a team for real NFL, but for fantasy football, it was a little bit frustrating to see. I think this is probably just too early for some of these names, man.
See if somebody falls to me here. I think how I feel inside. I doubt he will, but let's see.
We'll go a little Monty here. We'll go a little David Monty.
Okay, here goes Josh down with the quick.
But yeah, Sanders should have a ton of volume. Volume is king in the NFL, so in fantasy rather. Josh Downs at the 9-5. I just recorded a video on Josh Downs. So who are the players that were available on the board? We've got Rashad Bateman, Mims, Elijah Moore. Just looking at names that I like. Michael Mayer, some of these tight ends, Will Levis. Okay, noted. I have a video coming out about Josh Downs this week, so very curious to see your guys' thoughts on that video. But
Will Levis.
there's definitely a side of the fantasy, rather the dynasty community, that is like all in on Josh Downs, and there's a side that's kind of out. There's very few people I've found that are kind of like in between, like in the middle. So I'm curious to see how that video goes over. I just have much lower expectations for the Colts receiving options this year than your average person.
Yeah, for sure. And, Downs, I mean, a guy I really liked. I still like him, and I still want stock of him. I haven't gotten any stock of him in our rookie drafts so far in the leagues that we have, but I haven't been on that side of the board. I think it's a good investment. That's what I would say.
Sure,
it's a really good investment, and if everything pans out right, Josh Downs with Richardson could be great. But if not, that's a risk you take, whatever you pick here. So,
yeah. Josh says he's coming down. He's coming up in his books. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see that video. Yeah, I'm much more skeptical of his value increasing drastically as a rookie than other people. So I'm curious to see what people's thoughts are on that video. Sean says DJ Moore top 12 season. Just watch. Let's see.
Poke it up.
Let's see, baby.
I like DJ Moore. I like him. I think he's sneaky, and I still think he's kind of getting. Where do you go here? The 5'10". I feel like that feels comfortable. Before you see him going a little bit later, but I think he's going to continue to rise, especially with Justin Fields. Personally, I'm a big Justin Fields believer. They brought him in for a reason. He needed help. He needs weapons, right?
Yeah.
And that was. This is maybe the Stephon Diggs to Justin Fields, right? Like with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. I mean, obviously though that's big kind of shoes to fill, and a big kind of comparison. But I guess I'm just talking about in a weapons perspective. Last year he only had Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool. At one point it was N'Keal Harry, if I'm not mistaken. Like now you get DJ Moore, which I feel still really young. 26 years old. Has a history of success with whichever quarterback you want to put in. So I like DJ Moore for sure.
Yeah.
And Fields.
I think Fields could have a huge year. Still skeptical on DJ just because of that offense. But I think the good thing for DJ Moore is that he is the established number one. It's a small pie to take from, but he'll have a huge piece of that pie. So yeah, I mean he's likely to get 7-8 targets a game. It's just, will those be good targets? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm a fan from the perspective of he's clearly the guy to target in that offense for Justin Fields, and it's not really that close. There's no one who's going to compete with him for those targets.
Lord and Savior. Yeah, big field season for sure.
I need a bit of validation here. Our Lord and Savior says, is it okay to bench your remaining player if you're 1 point ahead of your opponent and he's out of players?
Like in any,
I mean, how far are you ahead? But yeah, I mean,
like for example, if it's Sunday night and let's just say you play with kickers, right? Kickers and defenses. It's Sunday night. He had all of his players play on Sunday, and you're already winning by like, let's just say 2-3 points, and he has no one, and your kicker and defense is playing on Monday night. I'm not starting my kicker or defense.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think it depends on how many points you're up, right? Like if you're like 5 points up, then there's no reason to really play that player unless your team has points for as an added bonus for playoffs. I know some people are like, okay, the top 5 get in, and then the 6th seed goes to the team with the most points for, right? So it just depends on your league format. Here's what I'll say. In the playoffs one year, I was up by 2 points in the playoffs. Actually, I think this was a semifinals in a redraft league. I was up by 2 points. And I remember so vividly, I had Juju Smith left, and I just left him in. Just left him in the roster, okay? And the first drive of the game, Juju catches a ball, goes backwards, is concussed, and fumbles the ball. And I end up losing that matchup in the playoffs because Juju was concussed, fumbled the ball, I lost points, and I did not advance in the playoffs. So,
well, that's why you don't start him.
It's, I don't think there's like a 100% no or 100% yes answer. That, you know, the context is important there.
Yeah, I think I would say if there's no bonus and there's nothing along those lines where you have to start somebody if your team's already winning, I'm sitting no matter who it is. Even if I have Patrick Mahomes playing on Monday night, I'm just gonna sit him knowing that I already secured that W. I don't need to have Patrick Mahomes in there. I don't need to do anything, and that goes for any single player: my running back, my wide receiver, my tight end. I'm not starting it knowing that the player that I'm playing, my opponent, doesn't have anyone playing on Monday night. So just bench him and just.
Yeah, I think think context is important for sure.
Yeah, just no
Alan remembers that game. Does Garrett Wilson have dog in him? I think he does, Buster. I think he does. Our Lord and Savior says, my league mate I beat in the championship last year has been salty all year that I did that. Says I should have to play all my players, including defense. If there's a clear rule in your league that states that you can't do that, then I agree. If there's not, then unlucky. You're just salty because you lost. You know
exactly. And he was probably hoping that you started him so that there was some sort of injury or whatever.
Yeah.
I gotta make a pick here. It's probably a pen and pick. I'll do Tyler Lockett. Yes, don't stress. I mean, take it up with the commission. If you're the commissioner, then say like, yo, there's no rule. Do you want a rule implemented? You know, have a league vote.
Damn, Jordan, that's a good pick. I was hoping he might fall back to me. Tweeted out about that today. I've been buying James Conner a lot this offseason. He's just so cheap. 304, 303, 31, or 311, sorry. Really, really good cheap buy for win now teams. Aaron Rodgers at the 10-9. I mean, come on.
Be careful.
That's huge value. More D-Hop rumors. Ben says, if you were to bet, is he in Arizona or elsewhere to start the season? Oh, dude.
I don't know about that, bro. I have no idea.
Genuinely, I have no idea. Here's what I'll say. It doesn't really make sense for him to be in Arizona, does it?
No, it doesn't.
But at this point of the offseason, how many people are really going to be able to swing that type of money that he's owed? So it's
how much is he owed? That's the real question. I
think it's like 18 million, if I'm not mistaken. You're on the clock, by the way, but
okay.
I think it's 18 mil. I just don't know, dude. I don't know who has that kind of cap space. I guess you can make space.
Let's see what else we got here.
Shadowboxing is killing it in this draft, Max. Matt says, yep, he's got Pat Mahomes, Breece Hall, Olave, Cup, Addison, Chubb, Love, Kincaid, Miller, Purdy. I like the team. It's a good team. So Mooney goes off the board. I mean, how far do you let Mike Evans slide?
Do
you know what I mean?
Possible. Nah, I get you.
I'm going to grab him here at the 11-4.
Tyler Algier off the board.
So at the moment, let's see DeAndre Hopkins' contract. DeAndre Hopkins is owed $19 million in base salary, a $5.5 million signing bonus. So what is that, like 20? Okay, so overall the cap hit would be $30 million. So they're definitely not cutting him. And it would make sense for them to cut him. I just don't know who's going to pay what it would cost to get him and have the cap space to justify it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just too much money. It's just too much money.
So Tyler Algier goes off the board, then Rashawn Johnson, then Tank Bigsby, Antonio Gibson. Do us a favor, guys. If you have yet to do so, go ahead and smash that like button. If we get 150, we're going to pop off a rookie mock draft for you guys here. So, looks like we're actually quite far off from that. But do us a favor if you have yet to do so. 111 people watching. Let's get to 100 likes together. With your help, I think we can get there.
Yeah,
Clayton Tune will have so many weapons. Yeah, I have a feeling Clayton could. Yeah, he could start over Colt for sure.
Clayton. Every time I hear Clayton, I just think of Tarzan. No?
Hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's a classic, bro.
Good old
classic.
Clayton Tune.
EGD says if Fields' passing numbers don't improve, Chicago will draft another running back. He also says that he is Zach Wilson. I can respect the opinion, yeah.
Justin Fields is Zach Wilson, okay.
Look, I don't know. I mean, a lot of narratives out there like Jalen Hurts were similar to that this time last year.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. I think like the expectations of these quarterbacks coming out in their first year or two as starters is just it's almost like ridiculously too high.
Noah. Thank you for subscribing.
Thanks for the sub, Noah. So I hear EGD and I can respect it. I just think our expectations are just too high for these rookie quarterbacks sometimes. I mean, most rookie quarterbacks do not come out and perform all that well. So yeah, I mean, let's see for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, on our channel, we got roasted a lot for drafting Justin Fields in the late second, mid third of Dynasty startups last year. We heard it all. So we've kind of been people backing Justin Fields. I'm going to give him time to develop. I think the talent is undeniable. For fantasy purposes, purely what he can do on the ground is going to make him a very, very valuable player. But
yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is, right? Like, he's still going to continue to be a valuable player on the ground. And we've seen that. We've seen the success on the ground and how he can be a threat with his legs, even without passing the ball, like, significantly. Top 6 quarterback this past year.
Thanks for the super chat, Buster.
Thank you so much, man. So I appreciate you guys. Keep grinding. Thank you, man. Thank you for sending that through, man.
Yeah, very kind of you.
But look, I can't find the message. I mean, I don't know where it's at. It was like, here we go. King says show, but the Bears roster isn't the Eagles rosters. But it's the same thing that was said last year where people didn't believe in Jalen Hurts, right? I mean, you get AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. People were kind of off on Miles Sanders. Then nobody was talking about the offensive line with the Eagles. The biggest. They were. I would say that wasn't like a massive argument for Jalen Hurts.
I would disagree with you there personally.
I feel like the biggest argument was with AJ Brown. At least that was what I was arguing.
AJ Brown was huge, but I think most people believed that this was one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. So I hear where people are coming from.
And
there.
Maybe that's
totally.
Fair. Yeah, and I think maybe that's fair because I was just more focused on AJ Brown. I just knew that he was going to come in and impact this team and help Jalen Hurts. But yeah, Hurts was going late first, early second, exactly. So I'm on the clock here. Sorry.
Yeah, I think most people coming into last year anticipated the Eagles being a very good team, though. That's where I would see it differently. Like, I definitely hear you. Eagles were, a lot of people anticipated them taking the NFC East. I don't think many people anticipated them going to the Super Bowl. But I think you also have to keep in mind, guys, there wasn't a team who had an easier schedule than the Eagles last year. I mean, and this is on me, like, I definitely missed on Hurts last year, and I've talked about that before, but, like, no one had an easier schedule than the Eagles last year by far. They should have won a lot of games, and they did. This year, they have the most difficult schedule. It's flipped. That's a different conversation entirely, but look, again, it doesn't matter what quarterback you talk about. I remember having conversations on our channel about Trevor Lawrence and people telling us he was a bust, right? I mean, like, it's what I'm saying is you need to give quarterbacks time to develop. Not everybody is Justin Herbert. Not everybody's going to come in week 2, week 1, and throw 3 touchdowns and 350 yards, right? I mean, what Peyton Manning was awful his first year. Trevor Lawrence awful his first year, but you take time, you grow. If every quarterback was graded off of their first season, then franchise would have moved on for most of all your favorite quarterbacks. Honestly, it's just not common that it shouldn't be an expectation that quarterbacks don't have room to grow. So, look, I hear people, I hear where they're coming from, but to be fair, here's what's funny about Justin Fields. Like, with all due respect to the people who don't like Justin Fields, what the hell did he have to work with? Quite frankly, one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. His first start, he was sacked, was it 8 times? Like, guys, he's not had a good opportunity. This is the first year where things actually look relatively okay for the team around him, right? Worst offensive line, maybe worst weapon group in the NFL outside of, you could say the Patriots maybe have had a worse weapon. I mean, Mooney was the one. I mean, I just think, like, sometimes this is the issue. People have, it's so black and white. No, Fields is a bust. So, wait, okay, so you're not going to give him a chance to improve? You know, it's like, it's just black. I'm sorry, he's a bust. That's it. He's not good at football. It's like, oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Well, there's not much of a conversation to have here, you know? So, look, I think we need to give people time to improve. And, hey, the things that Justin Fields wasn't good at last year, he over the offseason improved in those areas. Jalen Hurts. But yeah, look, people are always going to be too harsh online, I think.
I just think the same.
There's a reason there's not many NFL GMs in the NFL, right?
This is what I was saying. Whether roster or not, right? I think people were having the same exact argument with Jalen Hurts last year. Whether you were on the Jalen Hurts side or not, but a lot of people that weren't on the Jalen Hurts side was like one of the worst offenses, one of the worst passing offenses, right? He only had Devonta Smith, who was clearly at the time not a good wide receiver, so people didn't believe he was going to take a big step. Jalen Hurts didn't see the field often. He was in his third, going at the end of his second year, going to his third year. He didn't have any playing time, essentially, or barely any playing time compared to, I would say, maybe compared to what Justin Fields has had. So, which makes sense. And people were still off of Jalen Hurts. So, I don't know. I think that if he's already a top 8 quarterback this past year on the ground. In fantasy. Sure. Yeah, in fantasy. Justin Fields. So if he can't improve in the passing game, that's fine. He's still going to be he's still going to run. He's still going to rush. He rushed for over 1,000 yards on the ground this past year. So, and I think that's the same exact thought process.
And the NFL is constantly changing as well, right? It's consistently changing. And again, I'm having flashbacks when we were talking about Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
He's a running
100%.
back. He's a running back. That's all he is. He'll never improve. As if, like, you can't improve with the best coaching in the NFL that's possibly available to you.
Agreed.
I don't know. I mean, look,
And I think that's the same
I think
conversation.
there's two like black and white opinions out there. It's like, well, hey, things are better than they've ever been for him now. They drafted a legit left tackle, which he's never had. The coaching staff and the GM are on the same page. We've brought in a wide receiver that's better than a wide receiver that we've had since Allen Robinson was in his prime. Maybe this could be the year where we can finally actually judge Justin Fields. So
Yeah. I agree. And I think like we're doing the same thing right now with Anthony Richardson. We're drafting him so high right now because he can rush. And his whole thing in his profile coming into the league, he doesn't have good touch. His accuracy is way off. He has the arm talent to throw the ball however far he wants to, but he doesn't have the consistency with his arms. But it's okay, he can rush. So let's continue to draft him. So what's the point, right? Like I think it's just once again a whole nother cycle of like we're just going through the same thing every single year. For sure, but doesn't mean he's going to be successful, King. I get you. Like he had a great combine, right? And on the other side there, okay, athletic freak, right? He's athletic freak. He can run really fast. He can jump really high. I think that's like the other side of the coin, right? So I just think that we're doing the same thing. And I think that's why maybe we're saying, give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm still drafting him high, knowing what he can do with his legs. That's not a knock on Anthony Richardson either. Like I'm drafting him where he's going, right at the early to mid second. So I don't know. And I would agree if Justin Field doesn't improve in his passing and there's not a big step this year in the passing game, there's a huge conversation to have. I think
absolutely.
I think that's not something we're disagreeing with. So keep that in mind. And we will be wrong or right. All right, and I don't know if you saw the tweet, but this guy went down in practice and didn't get up, but he's fine.
Who's this guy?
It was Alan Lazard. I don't know if you saw, like somebody tweeted out, he was like, Alan Lazard was down for a long time with trainers, and then see him at practice or something like that. Yeah. And then Alan Lazard like commented, he was like, I was at practice. I don't understand why people didn't tweet the second half of that. Yeah, but it was just a joke.
Our Lord and Savior says, nope, you're wrong. Top 1% athletes in their early 20s are incapable of improving when their multi-million-dollar careers are on the line. Look, here's what I'll say. Like, nothing is guaranteed in the NFL ever. Nothing is ever guaranteed in the NFL. Okay? Right now, he has a chance to come in to start and prove that he has improved. If you don't think he's going to, don't buy him. If you think that he has a chance to improve based off of, I would say some pretty understandable rationale, then buy him if you want to. It's up to you. You guys have to make the decision.
Yeah.
So Trippy's saying, can you see the whole board? Sure. That is the whole board, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, great conversations. Justin Fields, we'll see. Happy to do it.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing we were saying this past year with Trey Lance. Oh, just got to get on the field. But he has the rushing upside. Jalen Hurts. It's okay. What's going to happen? Now we're talking about Justin Fields. Now this year is going to be Anthony Richardson. It's going to be the same thing. Well, Anthony Richardson.
What I will say on Anthony Richardson is like, look, people need to have lower expectations for Anthony Richardson year one. I think he'll be a very good quarterback in his career, but you need to, I think everyone across the board needs to lower their expectations for Anthony Richardson in his first year. I mean, if you look at Anthony Richardson as a passer coming out versus Justin Fields coming out, there's a lot more questions around Anthony Richardson's game. But what do you know? We're going to give him time, hopefully, right? If there are people who are in on Anthony Richardson and they're out on Justin Fields, I would hope that you're going to give Anthony Richardson time. You're not going to expect him to come in day one and be, this incredible passer when that was clearly a weakness of his game, right? hopefully over time, with experience, with growth, he can develop into being a better passer. But yeah, overall, again, like I said, I just think we need to give people much more time to develop than we currently do. It's like this new age NFL. It's like, oh, if you don't win a Super Bowl on your quarterback's first contract, then it's over. It's like, well, give them time to improve. You know, like, damn, come on, bro. Like, give them like a year or two, and then let's see what happens in year 3. But
he did improve in the.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes had the benefit of sitting behind Andy Dalton, and then being in a Chiefs offense that was perfect for him, right? Jalen Hurts, it took time. He was not a good passer in 2020, and he was not a good passer in 2021. Josh Allen was not a good passer coming out. He wasn't. He's this new age, this new breed of quarterback that the NFL is looking at. Lamar Jackson was not a good passer coming out. A lot of people were talking about Lamar Jackson being a running back only. Trevor Lawrence's first year, if you just look at those stats and you take away the name, you're thinking this player is, I mean, is this Davis Mills? Who is this? Who is this throwing the ball? We just have to be a little bit more patient with these quarterbacks. Allow them to grow, allow them to develop, because it's not always day one. Not everyone's Justin Herbert, right? You know, not everyone just steps on the field day one and throws for 67% of their passes completed and throws for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Fields played quarterback at Ohio State. How can you not look awesome as a quarterback? I don't know what the question is.
I think that's the biggest. I think that's just more like
everyone's played college ball.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, hey, what can you do? And once again, you think of the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because people saying the same thing about CJ Stroud right now. How can he not look amazing? Now he's going to go to a team that doesn't have, Jackson Smith or
I meant to say Alex Smith. My bad.
So I don't know.
Yes, Ohio State sucks for quarterbacks if you go by history, for sure. But I think that's just a blanket statement that people use if they don't like an Ohio State quarterback. It's what people use for CJ Stroud this offseason if they didn't like him. It's what people told us last offseason when we were drafting Justin Fields in the 3rd round of startups. Ohio State quarterbacks are bad. They're just bad. Like, scout the player, not the helmet. So, look, we can absolutely respect everyone's opinions, no doubt. I didn't know that this would, we haven't had to defend Justin Fields in quite some time. So, it's cool to see. Definitely cool to see.
Yeah.
But appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. I think that's probably it for today. Here's what I'll say is, if you do play redraft, go ahead and subscribe to our redraft channel. It is popping off, and we're really excited to continue to get closer and closer to the season, release more and more content for you guys. We release our top 24 wide receiver and running back rankings out. Those were a week apart. We got 2 more videos coming out on this redraft channel. We're going to be live not tomorrow night, but the night after on this redraft channel doing a mock draft. So we'd love to have you guys join us. We're going to be covering best ball. We're going to be giving you late round values and drafts. We're going to be giving you start sits during the season, trade targets during the season, waiver wire pickups, trade for, trade aways. If you play pick'ems on Underdog, we might do some of that. So yeah, definitely come join us. It's going to be a good time. Outside of that, is there anything else?
No. Ola, appreciate you. And what am I going to say? Yeah, just a lot of content coming out, kind of like what you said. We have a real rookie draft tomorrow with our community. Our follower league, tomorrow is, if I know my alphabets correctly, I'm assuming that's hotel tomorrow. Yes, that is right. Hotel. Yeah. Tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. That is at 9:45 or 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that. But huge love.
That is it, guys. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you all. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Live draft, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see you then. All love.